Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And yesterday marked the Karl Marx, yeah. We're off to a great start. Can you tell I'm unscripted? Yesterday marked the 7-year anniversary of me having started this channel. So, as per the annual tradition, I'm going through all of the CD purchases that I made over the past 12 months. It's the Wonky Angle CD collection, year 7. There you go. So I guess before I start, I can mention this guy. In previous years, I used to have like a big CD boombox up in this part of the shelf, and that's now, I gave that to my parents now. So instead, I have this little portable CD player. It's much smaller, it's actually optimized for headphone use, and I far prefer listening via headphones instead of via speakers, because I share a house with 4 other people, with my mom, my dad, and my 2 brothers. And I'm not about to want to disturb them with my weird-ass music that I'm the only one in the house who likes. So this has actually been really nice. I've actually been listening to CDs a lot more in the past year than I have any previous year, because now I can do it with headphones, and I couldn't with the boombox. Now, as for the actual CDs that I've purchased, well, the first one, I guess is the elephant in the room, is this guy up here, and this guy over here. I got Klaus Schulze and Pete Namlook's Dark Side of the Moog series. The first 8 volumes of it, rather. This is just a regular 5 CD jewel case, with the first 4 volumes and then the evolution of the Dark Side of the Moog. And then this guy up here is a nice big box set with all the jewel cases in there, so that's kind of cool. And it's also worth noting that over the past 2 days, I re-listened to this entire series, all 11 volumes, just went through all of them to refresh my memory to see if this series was as good as I was advertising it to be. For the most part, yes, it was exactly as good as I remembered. It's not great all the way through, which I did already know. There are definitely some volumes which are way better than others, but even the worst one is still decent, so... I actually also got around to listening to the 3 volumes that they did in the 2000s, because I had never gotten around to those last 3, which I don't own, and I may have to, because they are about on par with the rest of the series. I kind of expected them to, peter off, no pun intended. But that final run in the 2000s does have some of the best ones in there. It does have Volume 10, which is the worst one and was exactly what I thought the entire 2000s run was going to be. It's just kind of a lazy rehash of a bunch of the ideas that they did in some of the other volumes, especially 7. But 9 was really solid, and then 11, the very last one, they actually really pulled through on the final one. And that's one of the best ones. They gave the series a nice dignified finish, which I do have to appreciate. Beyond that, I always told people that my favorite ones are 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the ones that I always recommend to people when I talk about this series. Having re-listened to them, 4, 5, and 6 do in fact hold up as well as I remembered. 4 and 6 are probably my 2 favorites in the entire series. 3, on the other hand, surprisingly did not hold up nearly as well as I remembered. That's the one that I have the most nostalgia for, Phantom Heart Brother. Because Phantom Heart Brother Part 4, I found that track on an iTunes Essentials playlist, and that was the first track I ever heard from either Klaus Schulze or Pete Namlook. And I thought it kicked ass when I was still a kid. That's what kind of sent me down the Namlook rabbit hole in the first place. But nothing else on Phantom Heart Brother sounds even close to Part 4. It's all way more experimental, it's all way more minimalistic. The first 18 minutes are kind of a recreation of the middle section of Pink Floyd's Echoes, which, you know, is fitting, but still, like, this is not as nearly as easy a one to recommend as I thought it was. So instead of saying 3, 4, 5, 6 at this point, I think I'm going to say 2, 4, 5, 6, because 2 was way better than I remembered. Even though it takes like a half hour for any tune to come up, like, the first half hour is just all this weird experimental effects, and it's actually really engaging. So yeah, those are the highlights, and 11 is on par with those as well, because I was not expecting that to be nearly as good as it was. The entire series is, at very worst, decent. So there's my really long rambling about the Dark Side of the Moog. You can't just, like, talk about 11 albums in passing, can you? So, getting back on topic, this was supposed to be a video where I go through physical copies of things I purchased. One big story over here is the fact that after I saw Kraftwerk live, I'm like, I need to get the rest of the Kraftwerk CDs. Because before, I only had Minimum Maximum. Before this year, this was the only Kraftwerk CD I owned. I figured, this is all I'm ever gonna need. This is a fantastic live concert. I've had this CD since I was a kid, and yeah, I'm not even sure if it still works because it's so old. Might be a little scratched up at this point, and I listened to the crap out of it when I was little. But now I got all the rest of them. So now I have Autobahn with its flimsy-ass jewel case. I got Radioactivity. I got Trans-Europe Express. This and Autobahn just came in yesterday, so that was perfect timing. I have The Man Machine. I have Computer World. I have Electric Cafe. And I have Tour de France soundtracks. Obviously, I don't have, like, Ralph and Florian. I wouldn't mind getting a CD of that, but there is no official CD release of that album, so I guess sucks for me in that department. And I guess while I'm on that topic, I can also bring up the single vinyl purchase that I made. Way up here. I was not expecting to ever have a physical copy of this. This is Michael Mennert's Even If It Isn't Right. Yes, I for real have a copy of this. It's still unwrapped because I don't have a turntable and can't really play it. But I wanted to get it anyway because this is one of the only albums left in my greatest of all time list from 2016 that I don't own a physical copy of. And between this and the Kraftwerk ones, I believe that means there is only one album in that entire top 100 that I do not have a physical copy of, and that's Break Science 7 Bridges, because there is no physical release of that one. There is a vinyl release of Break Science's second album, Grid of Souls. I might spring for that one, possibly, but for now, the fact that this existed, even if I don't have a turntable to play it on, I'm like, I never even expected, because this album is 2.5 hours. It's it's 3 vinyl records. It needed to be fit on, like, I didn't think that this could fit in a physical format, but here we are. And now I have it. And that's great, because this album is absolutely fantastic, and it's my favorite Michael Mennert project overall, personally. Anyway, getting back to the actual CDs here, the first CD that I purchased after my last CD collection update was this guy over here, not that one, this one. Coma Duster's Hollow Worlds. I think someone commented on the Year 6 update that, like, hey, this is a thing that there exists a physical copy of, you should get it, and I'm like, yeah, I should get it. I admittedly have not listened to Coma Duster in quite a while, and whenever I do put them on, I usually gravitate towards Solace, his 2017 album, but there is not a physical release of that one. This is the only one in which there exists a CD of, so I was quite happy to go out and support that. And also right after that last update, I got the CD for Hybrid's Black Halo, this little guy here. There existed like a 5 CD box set, not unlike the Light of the Fearless one over here. But I did not spring for that. This is a great album, but I don't know if it's worth that expenditure for like just a bunch of remixes and alternate cuts and that kind of thing, and there wasn't enough like the Light of the Fearless one had that entire CD of original material with Shadow of the Fearless on top of the instrumental versions, which I think really helped flesh out the kind of album that was. The Black Halo box set didn't seem as appealing to me, but so I just went for the regular CD. I love you, Hybrid, but it's a lot of money to spring on. I think I'm going to put this up here because all the new CDs are right on this shelf here. So I guess another thing that I can pull out, Vangelis' Blade Runner. I bought this right after doing the Juno to Jupiter review, I think. And then I got to show it off when actually reviewing it out in downtown Chicago. So that's cool. I also got a couple of CDs that do not fall under the electronic music umbrella. For instance, I got a CD from Yes. I got Tales from Topographic Oceans. I did already have the Yes album before that. But now I got what I have marked as my second favorite Yes album. This one has a flimsy-ass jewel case again. Because it's 2 CDs, I suppose. Well, those are still in there. There's no pieces breaking off, as some of these tend to be. I do stand by my high opinion of this one. Put it on every now and then. It is a weird one to recommend to people because it's a rock album designed with the kind of listener mindset that's like as ambient releases, like you go about it listening to like a Future Sound of London album or something. Like to sit back and enjoy all of the cool instrumentation and change-ups and everything all the weird shit that happens throughout that entire like 80 minutes, and there's not like a lot of memorable tunes or that kind of thing. Well, I do get it if that album's not your thing, but I still love it. They have to get like some of the other ones like close to the edge at some point. But I'll tell you what else I got in the non-electronic category was the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past. This is another one of my favorite prog rock sort of bands. I'm actually wearing a Moody Blues t-shirt right now, technically. This one says Moody Blues on it. Is that coming up on camera? I don't know what this t-shirt is actually a reference to, for what it's worth. It might not even be a reference to the band at all, because I got this as a Christmas present from my dad, and because my dad picked it out because he knew that this was one of the few bands from his generation that I'm really into. So that's cool, but yes, Days of Future Past is an absolute masterwork. It's probably my favorite album of theirs. This and To Our Children's Children's Children was the other big favorite of mine. I think this is surpassed it because nostalgia and stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do a worst to best ranking of them someday in the future, because I do care about their catalog quite a bit. Another CD on the bottom half here that I got, and I was never really expecting to get, but just like on a whim decided to do it anyway. I got Disclosure Settle. I remember long ago when I first heard this album like a year after it came out, and I thought it was mediocre, and then like Disclosure just kept growing on me over the years, and yeah, I think this album's great now, as I think most people seem to hold it up. even if I would totally get it if you, like I did initially, thought it was also mediocre, because it's really commercially viable deep house and stuff. It's borderline radio pop. It is radio pop. Latch got played on the radio and stuff. But yeah, that album is nice. And 7 years ago, me would look at you and like I was crazy if I told him that I had a CD of that. And there's a couple of CDs that I was inspired to get, like immediately after doing reviews of the artists in question. First, I got Lone's Reality Testing, like right after reviewing Always Inside Your Head, because this was my favorite of his albums when I went through his catalog, and his entire catalog is kind of just stuck with me anyway. But this one, like, this sounds absolutely fantastic on a CD. Like, if I listen to this album from now on, it is probably just going to be with this CD, because this sounds honestly better than the digital version that I had. Might be the bass boost on this thing, because that portable CD player is a bass booster, but that just really elevated that album, I guess. And like once Air Glow Fires came out, I was like, oh my fucking god, this is so great. I also got Panthadu Prince's This Bliss. Was inspired to get that after this album was Patreon requested, and I thought this album was great. Really nice minimal house thing. And I still have not listened to any of this guy's other albums, but I wanted to buy the CD because this is the only way to listen to it legally nowadays. Another one I got was the Cinematic Orchestra's Every Day. This is their second album. I think I got their first one, Motion, last year. But yeah, I got this one as a companion, because I re-listened to that, and I thought it was great as well, and felt like I should get a physical copy of it. The one disappointing thing about this physical copy is that it only has the first 7 tracks on it, and I was hoping to get the bonus track version that adds 2 more and expands the track listing out to 9 tracks, because those last 2 tracks are really good, especially the last one. I think it's called Horizon, which I think makes for a better ending to the album than the title track does. But this is still an excellent album. Really nice ninja tune, live jazz breaks kind of thing. I don't know if that one actually has samples in it. I think that one might be the first one where they've... no, it does have the samples in it, because, man, with the movie camera. But yes, great album. I also got Fela, Fallen Light. Got this after checking out his entire catalog through the Some Stuff I Missed segment when I did that at the end of last year. I thought this album was excellent when I checked it out. Still has 2 sort of redundant tracks for me. I think it's Hollow and Ghosts and Memories that don't need to be there, but everything else is just really freaking good mix of like OG dubstep and chill out. And obviously his new album, which I don't think there is a CD release of, made my favorite albums of last year, so that's cool. Okay, so camera just ran out of batteries. Getting back into this. Next thing I can highlight, I can just pull out a bunch at once. Get that out of the way. I got some Tangerine Dream CDs. A bunch of them. I think these are my favorites here. I got Stratosphere. I got Tangram. I got Exit. That's my personal favorite. And I got Hyperborea. So this is nice to all have, just a bunch of these Tangerine Dream CDs. I do plan on finally doing a discography review, or a partial discography review for Tangerine Dream. That is probably going to start at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, depending, because I'm currently on, my current discography review that I'm working on is M83. Then it's going to be Music, Mike Paradinas. Then it's going to be Tangerine Dream. So, depending on how long these next series get stretched out, We'll see how that goes. But Tangerine Dream undoubtedly deserves to be covered in a discography review-like context. Just not all of their stuff. It's gonna be cut off at like 1986, and like Underwater Sunlight is the cutoff point for me, because I remember really liking that album, but I don't read most of the stuff afterwards. They just stagnated and turned into the Simpsons of electronic music. Anyway, going from there, the next thing that I can highlight, after doing my video on Doppler effect, I got some Gerald Donald related stuff. I got Drexia's Neptune's Lair, and I got Japanese Telecom self-titled. I got these two CDs, which are much smaller digipacks, which are nice. Yeah, these were really solid albums. I guess one other that I could theoretically get is maybe ARPANET's Quantum Transposition, but Gerald Donald related CDs, anything Drexia related, getting physical copies is not easy. They're pretty rare. Like there was a part of me who wanted to get a CD of The Quest, that big 2 CD compilation from Drexia that like first really got me into them, but the only physical copy available was like several $100s, and I'm like, no, it's not worth it. From there, after doing my my recent Röyksopp review, I was compelled to get this CD of Röyksopp's Junior. I already had Melody AM over here, but now I got this one as well because I realized that this album is also great and has grown on me a lot over the course of several years. So that's nice to have. Over here on this side, I also got the most recent album from the Future Sound of London, Rituals, E7.001. I have not reviewed this one yet, because it is supposedly part of a trilogy, and they have not announced when those other 2 volumes are coming out. I remember having a lot of fun doing the review for Future Sound of London's Environment 6 and 6.5, but those 2 albums released, I think, on the same day, and so I covered them in the same video as part of the same release. I'm not sure how this E7 trilogy is going to pan out. There's a part of me who's kind of afraid that they're not going to release any sequels until like next year or even the year after that, which would suck because I've just been sitting on this review for ages, kind of hoping to like cover the trilogy all in one go. In the meantime, if you want some quick thoughts, it's a very good album. It is yet another quality addition to the Environment series. It's kind of like a better version of what they did with Environments 2, I want to say. It's much more ambient-centric. It doesn't sound quite like any of the other ones, but it sounds like all the other ones too, so there's some really great moments on this thing like Hopiate and Time Past the Sun and some other ones. Yeah, I can definitely recommend this album if you want my short thoughts in the interim. I really hope those other 2 sequels come out soon. Going back to over this side of the shelf, okay, so what else do we have? I got New Burial. Here's I got the Tunes 2011 through 2019 compilation. So now I got this on top of the Untrue CD. After having done the big 20-minute video breaking this down and all his random loose singles that were not on Untrue or his self-titled. So that's nice to have. Just bought it right off his Bandcamp. Also, after marathoning the work of John Tejada, I got 2 CDs from that guy. I got this one, Cleaning Sounds is a Filthy Business, and I got this one, Signs Under Test. This one has a somewhat interesting story behind like how I got it. So this is bought from the official Compact website, but I initially bought it from a reseller on Discogs, and it's probably the worst experience I've ever had with a reseller on Discogs. It took them an entire month to realize that they did not have Signs Under Test in stock, and it took another month for them to actually refund me for it. So, not great communication on that front. But at least I have the CD now, so I'm glad to have it, and Signs Under Test is a great album. Also, after doing my tribute video to Mira Calix, I got a CD of Skim Skidda. R.I.P. once again to her, but this album was great, and I felt like it was something that I can add to my collection. When I reviewed the Max Cooper album, I bought Emergence afterwards, because this, I think, was his best album. It and Yearning for the Infinite. This was a really fantastic album from the guy who founded the Mesh label. Wasn't huge on his most recent album, once again, but, you know, his work is cool. Can definitely respect what he does, aside from the NFTs, which is eh. After doing my Orb odds and ends, I got a CD of Transit Kings, Living in a Giant Candle Winking at God. This is not next to any of the Orb CDs, which are up here. I got KLF's Chill Out next to them too. But yeah, Transit Kings is over here because I didn't want to move all this stuff around. My CD collection is not alphabetized, as you might be able to tell. But I do try to, whenever possible, have releases from the same artists next to each other. I can't alphabetize them because I don't want to like move around everything like every time I get a new CD. So like this is just the most convenient way I have to organize it, is just having all the artists' releases next to each other like so. And I think there's only 2 left. Aside from that, so the only ones left that I think I have yet to go over. So I got Flight Facilities, Down to Earth. Got inspired to get this after covering their second album on a Some Stuff I Missed segment, and I thought this album was great. Shout out to the commenter who recommends this one to people all the time, and now he has like a Billboard breakdown equivalent for the dance electronic charts, which I don't really watch, but it's a thing that's there. I don't get CDs from artists in Some Stuff I Missed segments that much anymore, like this one and the Phala one I brought up earlier, because a lot of the artists I cover in Some Stuff I Missed roundups now are like smaller time Bandcamp artists, and most of them don't have the budget for CD releases, which is a shame. Whenever they do, for whatever reason, vinyl releases are way more common for smaller time artists, which you'd think that would be more expensive, but I don't know. I guess people like vinyl and not enough people like CD, which that's their problem. CD is clearly the superior. And I guess the last one is Marconi Union Ghost Stations. When I did the Marconi Union review, this was easily my favorite album of theirs. I thought it was fantastic. It and Different Colors was the other one that I thought was great. Yeah, just really great down-tempo release. A similar sort of down-tempo band I think is going to be my next review, so you can look forward to that. But yeah, that was a very scattered all over the place sort of CD collection update, and I think that's everything to go over. Okay, yeah, so that's it. That's all the CD releases that I got over the past 12 months. Regularly scheduled reviews coming soon, and all the rest of the stuff. I never know how to close these kinds of videos as usual, so yeah. That's all for today. See you next time.